Yes, that's right. It was announced at Comic-Con this year that the Blair Witch Project will have another sequel released in September of this year. And I was really excited because I really enjoyed the original. I know it has its detractors, but I don't think you can underestimate the impact that the Blair Witch had upon its initial release. It really did kick off putting found footage in the mainstream and really promoted that genre, and is responsible for a lot of the franchise pictures that we see today. It became one of the most successful independent films of all time, being made for no more than $750,000. The film went on to gross $248 million worldwide, and it wasn't just a film. After that, there came 2 books were written for adults. There was a series of 8 books written for young adults. There were comic books. There was an erotic reimagining, and there was not 1, not 2, but 3 video games, all set in the Blair Witch universe.
Have you ever heard of the Blair Witch?
What the original film did well, and did without computers or explosions or gory effects, what the film did well was it created a really interesting mythology around the idea of the Blair Witch, and left a few great questions unanswered. For example, in the story recounted by Heather, what did become of the men at Coffin Rock? The new film, simply entitled The Blair Witch, it seems to ignore the ill-fated original sequel to The Blair Witch, Book of Shadows, which was incredibly lackluster and not told in the first person. So this new film continues the first-person found footage tradition of The Blair Witch. I'll be interested to see how it turns out. This announcement being made me think that actually this is probably a good time to look at my own recommendations for found footage films. Now, in order to prevent anyone from seeing this list and thinking,
there's no logic in this at all,
I just want to point out that these films are not ranked in any particular order. They're simply 10 recommendations from me from the world of found footage. Recommendation 1 is 2010's Troll Hunter from Norway. This film takes traditional Norwegian folklore and gives it a fresh, modern twist by turning it into the subject of a horror fantasy found footage film. The piece sees a group of film students go off into the wilderness intent on making a documentary about a bear poacher. However, when they get out there, instead of bears, what they come across is the troll hunter of the title, a man seemingly employed by the government to hunt down trolls wandering around the Norwegian wilderness. The film itself is currently rated as 82% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's a really interesting entry into the found footage genre, dark fantasy, something we've not really seen in this genre before. It has tension, has some really good visuals, employing computer-generated effects, miniatures, and costumes. Well worth a look. Recommendation number 2 is Exhibit A from 2007.
Hi, I'm Judith.
Rather than being a horror film, Exhibit A is actually described as a domestic drama, and it follows the story of the daughter of a family keeping a video diary who gradually uncovers secrets that threaten to tear the family apart.
I don't understand what's going on anymore, Dad. I'm gonna find out.
Dad! Will you stop being frightened of me?
You'd do anything for me, my dad.
Although it only received a very limited cinematic release, Exhibit A actually won Best UK Feature at the Raindance Festival and was nominated for 3 other categories at the same festival. The film received a lot of praise on its initial release. It was described as a masterpiece of gradually escalating horror and an ingenious and compelling thriller, with a lot of the emphasis on the praise going to Bradley Cole, who plays the role of the father, the main antagonist in the film, and Brittany Ashworth, the daughter, who, from her perspective, we see how the film unfolds.
just want to show you some filming that I've been doing.
Great!
Recommendation number 3 is The Blair Witch Project, the 1999 movie that launched an entire genre into the public consciousness.
Heard of the Blair Witch?
Several times.
I was laying down on the leaves, a pile of leaves, kind of watching my pool and looking up at the sky.
Have you ever heard of the Blair Witch?
And all of a sudden I felt like something was near me.
Right.
You know, kind of an eerie feeling.
There's no doubt that the film had a big impact on popular culture, and it was certainly still being referenced and parodied almost 20 years later.
It reminds me of the orientation video Michael showed on my first day. The Scranton Witch Project.
I am so scared when people don't label their personal food.